All right. Welcome back to the June Tuesday night Swiss analysis. It's Tuesday night again, which means that we are on game 4 of the Tuesday night Swiss for the month of June. As an update, I was 3 out of 3 at the start of this round. I had beaten the top 3 seeds: Edward, Zainal Abidine, and Michael. And so I was up against the other person with 3 out of 3, Josep Ruiz. Yeah, who had a similarly strong tournament, and so this was a clash for first place. So with that, we can get right into the analysis. We had a Caro, an exchange Caro. I actually just reviewed the Caro lines, some of the lines in the course that I have right before this match, so I knew this was it. And then I wasn't entirely sure if it was Queen B6 or Queen T8, so I went Queen T8, which I think is fine. Knight D2, E6, E6 just to stabilize his pawn in case of any tricks on the knight. This pawn keeps the center stabilized, also allowing the development of the bishop, although it can't come to the square because the queen is moved, which is quite annoying. But it's okay. The reason Queen C8 also works here is that going Queen D7 can lead to some tactics with this pin if the knight has to move. And also, but it does keep the bishops able to develop. Not yet, because in this line, like, if you have Queen D7 instead, and white develops and castles, you can't go here yet because you lose the pawn. And even this maybe is liable. There's certainly some venom to it. This is the poison pawn. But I don't think they're going to this line ever. So, E6, knight D3, knight D7. Knight D7 was not a good move on my end. I was thinking of like some F6 D5 Kingside expansion. It drops the spawn. Like the spawn gets undefended when you push, which is kind of bad. I mean, obviously like, you're hitting the bishop at the same time, so it's not a huge issue right now. But it's never going to work. And you don't really need to cover the square that much because white can always over defend it with the rooks. I had vague ideas of rotating to the green side. I know that in the Caro structures, you're looking for a minority attack on with the 4-on-2. This is a Carlsbad structure, and so I kind of thought maybe I could get a minority attack if I had time, but he acted pretty quickly with castles, bishop e7, rook a1. He's immediately putting pressure on the king side. And after that castle, queen c2, and there's a lot of things looming here, and so I kind of had to abandon this idea of rotating to the green side. I don't really have time to do this, or else I would just get blown off the board. So h6, rook e3, rook e3. He said had an idea of getting the rook either to here or to here. But I thought that like getting the knight here to cover these and the bishop would cover these squares together. So I brought the knight back to f6. Also, kind of hunting his bishop down. If his bishop goes, I have access with the dark square pawn structure, light square pawn structure, to get the dark square bishop out and active. Would be nice. Something like trade it off, get on the long diagonal, then start my minority attack, break up the pawns. Would have been ideal. Now that I let go of the square, though, he can dump the knight immediately, and this knight hang. His bishop is hit, so I take the knight. I think I have to take the knight. I wasn't really sure if I can go like to do something else. I don't think you can. I think there's too much like going on. You just lose a piece. I was even thinking of like knight h5 now. But I thought this. You can sack the bishop first, and then I didn't really see a way to not not lose the piece here. And maybe there's like some idea of like you can like barricade like this, hit the rook. The rook can hide like back here and hit the knight. It wasn't gonna work. So you have to take. And after pawn takes, I thought he actually he should have bishop takes. Um, Now the bishop's pretty stuck. Without anybody good to go. Like if you drop, if you get pushed back ever, it can be an issue. And also, then I can't get to the square or anything. And I can go to this square, but this cuts out the bishop completely. And so I thought, I don't know, maybe like here, after takes, you just go for the weak pawn like this. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's still a lot of play here. But he took with the pawn instead, which gave me time to get an h5. And I was thinking about just taking the bishop immediately. But I thought I had a nice tactic. At least I could threaten a nice tactic here. So I got the bishop back to force the trade. You didn't have to trade. You actually just wait. And make me take. But I want to get rid of his bishop. His bishop is very good here. So he takes instead of the structure and goes in. So I thought, well, what I saw in this line was that after takes, the fork is threatened, and so you have to stop the fork. But you can't stop it like this. You can't stop it with the f pawn. And you have to move something immediately. The bishop is trapped. So you can't move the bishop anywhere. And so the rook has to come to f3. And after rook f3, I thought I could go put the bishop here, and then when I take, and you can't take the pawn because when I take, the queen gets deflected and I can win the rook. However, you can just take, because when you take here, you take the rook, the knight, and I saw this line, and I thought it was fine. So because I thought I could just take the bishop at first, but then I realized that this opens the defense, and this is no longer like loose when I attack it. I can go here, and here, which is nice. Because you can't take this because you lose the queen, and this is like a really nice like stronghold, in the center of the board. But it's not like a winning or anything. I thought I had a winning tactic, but this is drop the pawn, and kind of obviously as well. I think if I just take here immediately, like this takes, and like in like c6, or even just like d, or after this is d4 now, at least forcing like putting the question. But I think you can just take here, um, and you have to take this first. I'm gonna take. And this is maybe playable. um, Also still down a pawn, but at least his pawn structure is terrible. The variation we end up getting in game is just like there's too much stuff on the board still, and I don't think it was very smart to do that. I think even now I can just take. I don't think I had to go. Um, I don't think I had to go here at all. These guys a lot of activity, and by the time I trade, he's just like kind of marching down the board. Um, and it's quite unfortunate. D4, I thought I had some nice counterplay here. And I can, like, there's a triple threat on the pawn, but I can just take anybody because I don't have to take immediately. And I can come back to defend, and he gets to come back. But after this, I mean, the path pawn is just too strong. There are some fun ideas I thought maybe we have here. Instead of what was the exact position? I had it written down. Instead of 27 here, instead of rook takes here, I thought I could maybe go bishop a3. Because now the pawn is defended, and white struggles to find a activating move. At any point, this pawn just drops, and you can't really defend it with the rook. You have to defend it with like the queen or something. Or even you could just take this pawn, and then come back, like that. I'm down, I'm down 2 pawns in this position, but like the structure is really bad. This is defended, and so there might be some counterplay. When I move the bishop, like this pawn is loose, I can maybe get like a rook, rook here and here. I thought that maybe there's some play in this position as well, but unfortunately, it's really just a case of one big mistake. And even now, like here, here actually, I thought I was being clever by cutting off the knight. I didn't even see you could just play. There's a check here. And even now, actually, I wonder if you can go here, um, just to complicate things a little bit. If you play exactly what happened in game, but with the king here, I think it's different, like a quite different outcome. Um, First of all, this isn't pinned at all, um, so it changes things a bit. If you go like in this position, um, the knight doesn't get back at all in this mode. Obviously, you wouldn't just play the same moves, but I thought this was pretty interesting. Yeah, what happens is that same thing, but in this case, this check, a very crucial check to get the knight back in time, and the king just, I'm down a piece. The king can't win on the pawn, and so I just get to here and resign, which is quite unfortunate. Kind of throwing away my chance at winning the tournament. He's just up now at 4 points out of 4. Meaning he's guaranteed first place, with around to spare. He can still tie for first if someone else has 3. I have 3 still. If I win, I can get to 4 as well, and he loses. But he's guaranteed to have first place at least, which is pretty cool. And he played great. I just made a pretty foolish mistake thinking I could make a tactic that doesn't really exist. Which I think I learned my lesson a bit. But my end to make that kind of mistake. But that's why we're 1400. I just got a couple books that I'm gonna start doing once I'm done with work, which would be nice. Hopefully, I can improve a lot off of those. But this was just a very elementary mistake, and I'm quite upset with myself about it. But I thought I made some interesting counterplay at least after going down the pawn. It's just a real issue that the pawn is up with the pass pawn that's really close to promotion already. My other idea with the bishop 3 thing here is since this pawn is still here, I'm still preventing advance, at least divided advance of the B pawn of the E pawn. So this would have been nice to have here as well. This is playable for like a draw or anything, just because of how many pawns White has. So yeah, that's game 4. I just don't want to do more analysis of this because I know exactly what went wrong. And I will not do that again. Also, I won't go 97 again. 97 was bad. I can just go here and not waste 2 turns. If I had this position, 7 castles here. I can still go here if I wanted to. I've just saved 2 turns. I can go here immediately or something. I don't really know why I went 97 either. Maybe more than one mistake. I thought I had like or here, like right here. Yeah, I just don't think I played it right. But it's a shame. But that's how it is. Big congrats to Josep though for winning this this month's tournament. I think he's one of the lowest seeds in the section. I'm like kind of in the middle-ish, but he's a bit lower rated than I am. So huge win for him. This tournament to be winning this many games. And I mean he's a great sport. He played fantastically. And not much I can really say except congrats. I don't really want to beat myself up over this game too much. I think even here, like this is good, or this is good. Forcing the rook back, and then after takes, this is a structure I can get play against pretty easily. Yeah, there are some mistakes made, I will say, but it's okay. Hopefully, I can bounce back next round and still end the tournament with 4 wins, or at least 3 in a draw. I don't know. I don't know who I'll be playing last round, but um, game 5, last game, I'm sure I can try to eke out a win. So looking forward to that. So see you next time.